So in this particular set, we're going to be talking about proportions. Now remember that a proportion just is a fraction equals a fraction. So you'll see things like 1/2, then an equal sign, x over 4. Most of you are already familiar with this, but you solve it by cross multiplication. Now the one thing that's kind of a new thing is this idea that if you ever have adding or subtracting in the fractions, you've got to put parentheses. So in this case, here's how you'd set a proportion for this similar figure. So you've got, we're comparing base and height. So the blue triangle, again, has a base of x and a height of 10. Now the bigger red triangle, the hard part says 8 and x piece. That total length is 8 plus x, and the height would be 15. All right, and that's a proportion. A fraction equals a fraction. So the first step is if you ever see any adding or subtracting, you've got to put them in parentheses in the fraction. So in this case, we'll put the parentheses around the 8 plus x. All right, now we can cross multiply. Now understand that cross multiplying, it's basically just balancing. The opposite of divide by x is times x. The opposite of divide by 8 plus x is multiply by 8 plus x. So you do it to both sides and you rewrite it as an equation. 15 times x equals 10 times parentheses 8 plus x. All right. Now once we have our equation, we solve it like an equation. So we'll distribute if we see parentheses. So we multiply it out. We get 15x equals 10 times 8 is 80. And 10 times x is plus 10x. Alright, now again, it's just a simple equation from here. So we're going to go ahead and draw the balance. We've got to move the terms to the correct side, so we've got to move that 10x with the 15x. The opposite of 10x is minus 10x. Do that to both sides. 15x, negative 10x make 5x equals 80. Now we divide by 5. And so divide by 5 to both sides. And you get x equals 16. Again, proportions are pretty straightforward, just like equations, except remember to add those parentheses.